Hi guys, it's me. Um, I will be talking in this video about functions, trauma, the aftermath of being abused, and everything related to what I've been going through. And I feel like I've been in this more calm mindset for maybe this week or so. So I feel like I can start putting it into words what I've been going through and putting it into words that like it needs to be like solved and dissected what kind of trauma I've been through, and I really want to talk about it because this is very important topic, and this is a topic that likely is hold on, how am I going to put this? So difficult because I don't have an actual camera, but just, well, I can hold it. So yeah, this is like very important topic because everybody knows we're going through global crisis with the corona situation, and people's mental health is definitely in its like everyone's mental health is, it's not it's gonna be like difficult for everyone, and people's feelings are going up and down, and we don't exactly know what to trust and where to go and what kind of feelings or emotions we should be feeling and how could we be strong. And I know it's very difficult for many of us to really find any reason to reason this all. So basically it's a good timing for me to also do all this work and get some talking out and really just inform people about these things these things that affect our minds. So what happened to me, what I went through, what kind of abuse I experienced was a some kind of like mental and more spiritual abuse, I would say. And it ties down to more of the situations, like more of these type of situations I've been in. Like, even if this was something that happened in my personal life with my, you know, in my own life, in reality, um, it ties down to having similar effects as how when people online are abusing you. And it's not an excuse if you are targeting people online, if you are attacking somebody personally, if you are not having strong, like, if you are not following rules and and other people are following rules and you are not, that makes you easily an abuser and someone who is taking power away from other people who have been working hard to whatever mental state they are in, or whatever mindset they have built for themselves. And there are a lot of spiritual and mental and emotional bullies that exist in a lot of these forums that we are in. And how you know that someone is not respecting your boundaries is that despite you telling them directly that you are crossing this line and that you're like not like I don't want to talk to you, and if they continue, you know it. That's the thing that happens very easily, and that has effects that are severe and it impacts the whole community. So let's talk about my trauma and how it has impacted my functions. So I feel like it changed some ways my functions are working now. I feel like I'm a lot more feeling my own feelings now. I'm like aware of what I'm feeling. And to be honest, that is a strange feeling because I'm an extroverted feeler. I should be using more FE, and having so much FI to sort of I guess it's not unhealthy to be connected to your own feeling. That's not exactly the feeling, but um, how it becomes unhealthy for me is that I don't exactly know now what is appropriate. Okay, so I sort of, as a result of the abuse, I lost my ability to connect to group emotions. So I lost my FE, and I had very strong FE. I have very strong connection to group feelings, and I'm very connected to other people. That was my gift. That was my drive. That was the function I used, and it gave me energy, and it gave people energy. I mean, it gave everyone else energy as well every time I would express that FE. So I kind of lost it. And that's been pretty devastating, um, because it sort of took away my identity. Um, Something that was very normal to me, something that was very, um, very easy, something that I could always rely on, something that I could trust on with myself, and something that everyone else could trust on with myself. So having that, having like losing that has made me feel like I cannot be trusted. Uh, like so that my FE could work the same way it used to work. So I don't know if I can like I feel like I can't trust it. And that's a result of the abuse. And the abuser who I encountered was somebody I never expected to, you know, of course I know that there are people who you not may not come together well, or who you just don't get along with necessarily, but I did not I mean it's hard to describe. um I mean, the word abuser is self-explanatory, and it's not supposed to be putting it's not supposed to be stigmatizing the person. It is supposed to be describing how a person is causing harm to someone else. and this is like, this is really hard to talk about, and also at the same time it's so important to talk about, so that's why I'm doing it. And I know I'm like, yeah, it's important. So the abuser I encountered was, to be honest, I don't think the personality type matters here, because I didn't see any characteristics of the person's personality type. So that's the main point, I think. There was no common traits that I would have expected to see in this person, so that will make it very difficult to rationalize and even like come around with any sort of logical explanation to his behavior if a person is not following the behavioral traits that you're supposed to be expecting from a type, if you know their type. And so I would say in this case, knowing the person's type, knowing the 4 letters, maybe it didn't help at all. Maybe it was harmful. Maybe it was even harmful to know that. So, what I experienced was abandonment, like a physical abandonment. And I have never experienced a trauma like that before. You can check on that. There are some videos on YouTube explaining what does abandonment mean as a trauma, and as a physical trauma, and as abuse. What does it mean? It is always a chemical reaction, because the trauma will impact your nervous system and brain. So we're not talking about a assumption of a person that he didn't just, I don't know how to explain this really. I'm trying my best. He didn't explain, he didn't explain, and it wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was being left. It was that I was being literally abandoned in a situation where people normally know how to communicate things to end them. And like, it's worse to know that the way he handled a situation was just as harmful to himself. And yeah, that is my extroverted feeling, understanding the impacts on both sides. So as a result, there were significant changes in my brain, in the way my nervous system works and regulates and processes things. And there's like a change in my energy that is not necessarily a bad thing, but taking into account that I'm struggling also, like I'm also chronically ill, I have a chronic sickness, like I was in a very weak or vulnerable situation and state, having serious neuroimmunological disease, having history with this illness. Um, Also, having to explain my situation to the person. Um, he should have he should have used his empathy to understand certain logical things and certain logical rational factors. It seemed like there was no logical factor to a person's behavior and decision making. So therefore the impact to me has been very drastic. And especially because I'm a person who likes to very logically think about things. There are always logical explanation to something, and that's been like me always. Even if there's a slight distinction or difference between logical and rational, those are like different things in a certain way. But if we're talking about like in an identity wise thing, that logic is reasoning, and logic is something I think most people have in their ways, and they want to follow their logic. Even if you are an FI user, you have some kind of logic. So yeah. What else? So there's been significant changes in my nervous system and brain, and it impacted also my ability to empathize or use empathy. And in certain situations, that has escalated and perhaps caused some damage to the way I relate to people, generally speaking. But I know that my empathy is definitely not gone. It's more withdrawn. It's, that FI. It is a lot more, inward process now that I'm sort of like newly wiring it to work again. And it's interesting to see how empathy works differently to FI and FE. Like I can definitely like see where the line goes, because if I'm an IFJ type, it means that my extroverted feeling is a second function, so it's still, because I'm an introvert, it's the second function, so I have more conscious awareness or knowledge about how to use empathy, to specifically use it in a certain way or situation. And having introverted feeling going to the other side, because it's the shadow function, it's in the critic position, so it's like in the background, so that I'm aware of my feelings. If someone is, for example, telling me something, I know how I feel about the, like I know how I'm feeling, but it is not guiding me the same way. It's not correcting me, and it's not. It is less easy to directly impact my FI because it's in the background. So I listen to FE more, and I let my extroverted feeling direct me more, and it has its own purpose, it has its own agenda, and it has its own like how you are supposed to be developing it and so on. So it's interesting to see the difference so clearly. I think I have always had a lot of difficulty um, to make the distinction, kind of, because FI has always been, like I've said before in some video, that INFJs and ISFJs feel like they cannot let their FI and their feelings to come to surface because they feel like it's too like personal or something, because we're so used to using the FE. So and I'm not saying that it isn't useful. I'm finding that it's very useful to be so connected to your own feeling right now. And I would like to hear in the comments if you have been feeling the same way, if there's something, you know, in the current life, if you are also experiencing better connection to your feeling, or, you know, just being more affected by, like, from that. So I'd like to know. You can comment. And what else? Well, I guess there's more to discuss, but being the introvert that I am, being that introverted person that I am, it's being already long time to be talking on camera. So if this is something that feels good to me, I will be continuing and making another video, and, you know, kind of like documenting my process with this all, and hopefully come up with also educational aspects more to it, if you like, and if that's something that would keep you interested. So please give me a like, and also subscribe to this channel. Please share and talk, and let's take care of each other. And yeah, hope you're having a wonderful evening or day. This is Hanna Talks, and bye.